Hello, my name is Alona, and I'm going to be telling you a little bit about liquid lenses today. So this drawing is of a visual field machine. A visual field machine is used when you go to the optometrist for your annual eye exam, which I hope you are all doing. It tests your peripheral vision for any kind of defects. So if you're not seeing something in the periphery, you may not catch it, but this machine sure will, and so that way you can get it taken care of before it gets worse. So essentially it's a computer here, and then inside you have a big spherical opening, kind of like a half a globe, and you stick your face inside of it essentially. And this little guy here is a lens that you look through when you're looking into the spherical opening. And so inside what you're going to see is either, depending on the type of machine, you have little squiggles like that you will click a button that they will give you whenever you see one. And so these squiggles are going to appear in your central and in your peripheral vision, so there's a really good view of how well you're seeing all over the place. And then if you don't see squiggles, you may see little flashes of light like so, and then again you just click the little clicker that they give you whenever you see one. So with a visual field machine, you have these lenses. As an operator, you have to put in one of these lenses in front of the patient's eye so that they can see properly without necessarily having to go and get their glasses. So what happens is you have these drawers and drawers full of lenses, and you pick one out for each new patient, put it in, and then by the end of the day you have a whole pocket full of lenses that you didn't put away. And so, you know, that's all fine and dandy, but you're walking around jingling with a bunch of lenses in your pockets and you have no idea where the ones that you need went, and probably they're in your pockets. So anyway, the really cool thing about this new visual field model is that it utilizes liquid lens technology. And so what's really cool about the liquid lens is it can actually change shape or prescription without you having to go and grab a bunch of new lenses for each new patient that comes in. And so how does this work? So a liquid lens, it actually works a lot like the crystalline lens of your eye. So it changes shape, it gets flatter or more round depending on what each patient's need is. And so if we go back for a little bit of anatomy, here we go. We have the cornea of the eye, the crystalline lens of the eye, and these little fibers that are connected to the ciliary muscle. So the ciliary muscle in its relaxed state is kind of a wide circular type of contraction, and attached to it you have these fibers. The fibers, when the muscle is relaxed, pulls on the crystalline lens because it's, again, a little bit larger diameter, and it causes the lens itself to flatten. So when you're looking out in the distance, your muscle is relaxed, your cornea, or excuse me, not your cornea, your lens is actually a little bit flat. So when you go to accommodate or to read something up close, look at something up close, your muscles actually have to contract, and so that decreases the diameter of that circular muscle, and it causes these fibers to relax, and this in turn causes the cornea to spring back into its more round shape. So a crystalline lens, to go back to that, is made up of two primary components, and that's water and oil, and those are immiscible, meaning they don't like being together. And so the reason for this I'll explain in a little bit, but just those are the primary components of your liquid lens. And it's actually the water that's going to be changing shape. The oil is then more like a cushion for the water. And so here is a rough drawing of what a liquid lens looks like. You have that water and the oil, and they are sandwiched between two plates of glass. And on the outside you have a Teflon metal interface, and that's really what's going to be the important part when it comes to changing the shape of the water and therefore changing the refractive power of the lens. So there are electrodes that go either directly into the water or into this Teflon metal interface, and so the reason that that's important is that water is a polar molecule, meaning it has a slightly negative side and a slightly positive side. So it's going to be attracted to itself as well as to other polar things. Oil, of course, is not polar, therefore they do not mix, and again, the immiscibility from earlier. So the electrodes, they actually pass a current through the water, and this changes the orientation of the polarized molecules within the water, and it actually attracts them to this metal because the metal itself has an electrode going to it, so it's going to align it in such a way where the water is either more or less attracted to the metal. And so this angle here that's between the metal and water interface, it's actually going to get more shallow if it's more attracted to the metal, or less shallow if it is less attracted to the metal. And so this is going to change the curvature of the water, making it either more curvy or less curvy, or even anti-curvy, or even more concave. And so that water is actually what's changing the prescription, not necessarily the oil or the glass or any other element. And so once again, why is the oil there? And it's acting kind of like a buffer. It steadies the water and it prevents gravity from preferentially changing the water. So gravity, left to its own devices, would just pull that little droplet of water to the side, and it would screw up all sorts of things with the refraction. But the oil keeps a nice little cushion around it, sandwiched between the layers of glass, so that way the lens doesn't actually change shape, and it's only the water that's going back and forth and changing shape. Excuse me. Alright, so that in a nutshell explains liquid lenses. I hope you found this informative. Thank you so much. It has been a wonderful